We're all lined up here for first our third place match. That'll be played between Khan and Mortimer. Right after that, we're planning to take a look at our finals. That'll be Severe facing Sticky Pickle. So, without further ado, let's take a look at those players' decks. Alright, so Khan's lineup here. Got this interesting Burn Warlock deck that he's bringing. Has 2 copies of Bluegill, 2 copies of Arcane, 2 copies of Wolf Rider, Leroy. Just about everything you could want to burn somebody's face down quickly and efficiently. On the other side, we've also got this combo Druid. He's got a Control Warrior. We've seen a little bit of today. Seems to be a real expert in that. And Miracle Rogue as well. And his opponent here is going to be Mortimer. Mortimer's lineup, he's got Control Warrior, copy of Faceless, full stacked, not quite fully stacked, 6 slot, missing the Black Knight. Got a Control Paladin, got a combo Druid as well with a Blood Knight, and just a pretty standard mid-range Shaman list in there. Those players will be getting started shortly while we're waiting. Let's take a peek at the bracket. So, our first matches are already done out of the way here. So, in the semifinals, we saw Sticky Pickle taking down Khan 3-1. We saw Severe winning over Mortimer 3-1. So, Sticky Pickle and Severe up here in the finals. We'll see that match in just a moment here. And our third place match will be playing first between Khan and Mortimer. Third place winner will take home $10. Second place will take home $15. And first place winner is going to take home $75. So, see a little bit of competition here for all the money. Alrighty, so hopping back in, we'll see Khan hopefully beginning that match very soon. Get those players' decks all ready to go. If you haven't had a chance already, if you haven't joined our Classic Hearthstone Discord, that's kind of our community hub. You can find information about tournaments there. You can find all of these top players discussing strategies. A lot of good folks in there. So highly recommend it. That link is in the description to the channel. So we're starting it off. Khan is bringing this. Oh, I suppose you could call it Burn Warlock. And Mortimer opting to bring his mid-range Shaman first here. Alright. Starting it off nice with a little Earth Shock on that Leper. Good choice. And Khan responding in kind. He's got a lot of 1-drops, 2-drops in this deck. This Argent Squire from Mortimer is going to be very powerful in being able to trade off some of these minions efficiently, stem some of that bleeding. Really with burn decks like this, what you really want to do is just stop yourself from taking too much damage too early on. Find a way to effectively race them. So Khan taking a little control of the board here. We'll see if Mortimer's able to answer. Lightning Storm is probably going to be a pretty key card here to clear off some of these small minions. Also Defender of Argus, Feral Spirit, Sen'jin, going to be strong cards to deal with some of these bigger these bigger charge minions. Khan able to use his first power overwhelming of the game, trading into this Sen'jin. And board is clear. Khan moving forward. See how Mortimer decides to respond. Get these classes all figured out here. Now you'll notice this Warlock deck has a ton of draw. Cards you won't traditionally see in Warlock because we have the Warlock hero power, right? We don't need to be drawing with stuff like Loot Hoarder and Novice Engineer. The purpose of these cards is to find our way to our chargers more quickly. So really focused on finding that face damage and just killing our opponent as soon as possible. Now, compared to a traditional Zoolock list, you're going to see, in addition to all of these card draws, you're going to see Khan tapping a lot more than usual. Just leaving some dinky little minions on the board, trying to find all of those chargers, do massive burst with PO, Charger, Abusive, Soulfire, just like you see in his hand here. So Mortimer down to 22 HP. Might not seem like much, but we're already looking at 12, as far as 16, 18 damage from hand. So one off lethal here if the Soulfires don't discard anything critical. I would expect to still see a life tap. Yeah. Probably the right choice.
That gets 80 damage in hand.
Yeah. Like, how often do you see that? Every single card in the hand that can just, like, do 4 damage. 2 to 4 damage.
Oh, it's Shrug is quite often.
Yeah, exactly. Evis, Cold Blood. Sure, Leroy. And by the way, looks like Mortimer had his Warrior banned out, and Khan having his Rogue banned out. So pretty typical to see Rogue banned out. Not as common to see Warrior banned out. Usually either see Druid or Rogue ban. Sending 5 more to face. And Mortimer kind of on the back foot here. Even a Lightning Storm doesn't necessarily guarantee he stays alive here. With Khan being able to pick up 2 cards next turn with his hero power, there's only a 1 in 3 chance to discard one of those Soulfires if he wants to send both of them face. With the Death Rattle on the Leper Gnome, because there's no Earth Shock left, if there is a Lightning Storm, we could still see lethal next turn. Ooh, not a good sign. Defender of Argus would have also been a card that would have liked to have seen here. And now I think we just got lethal on the board. I don't think there's anything else that can save this. Is he gonna hex the Leper Gnome? Yep. Able to finish it off with Hellfire, Soulfire. Really doesn't matter which way we do it. Could do Soulfire first, could do Hellfire first. And wow, Khan has been so successful with this Warlock deck today. We've really seen it do well. I don't know if we've seen it lose yet, actually. So, as a man who values damage to face and quick games, I think that I've got to be an instant fan of this deck. I also have annoyingly lost to it before to LOK Shadow on the NA ladder, a very strong player that we don't see in tournaments, but all the same, it's just kind of hard. You have this looming sense of dread as the Warlock is tapping and drawing, and you just know that their hand is like POs and arcanes and stuff. Can fall kind of flat against Druid, in my experience. If Druid's just able to set up big taunts, those chargers really aren't worth much. But PO, giving us the chance to trade up with our small minions, that can help a little bit against some of these big Druid minions. Also seeing an Owl in that deck as well. So Khan taking down the first game. He's up 1-0 in the series. He'll have to choose something other than Warlock this game. Alright, so Khan is going to stick with his Shaman. And it looks like, or excuse me, Mortimer's going to stick with his Shaman. Khan is going to transition over to his Warrior deck, his Control Warrior. Nothing too special about this Control Warrior deck. We do see a Tinkmaster probably as tech for Rogue. We see a Faceless that can help with our own Karen or Sylvanas. No Black Knight in this version, just the super value minions on the 6th slot.
Man, I feel like we've seen like every shaman lose so far, right? I don't recall seeing shaman really win.
Yeah, I think so too. Which is weird because we see so many. We typically see a lot of shamans in EU tournaments with the intention of banning Rogue and playing against Druid and getting a free win against the Druid deck. In this case, we actually see far fewer shamans in this tournament than we have in all of our previous EU tournaments. The proportion of shaman decks is actually quite low. That could mean some of the new players are, just getting accustomed to the EU meta. And Mortimer here, this annoying armor smith, wants to be able to deal with it, but Khan with a really nice response here, able to slam that Flame Tongue, get a lot of value out of this armor smith here. 2 mana, 4 health is a pretty darn good stat line.
Oh, I feel like Flame Tongue is like insane in this matchup. Not sure about that. Like very aggressive.
Yeah. Yeah, Flame Tongue can get so much value later on as we fill our board up more and more and more with all of these like little tiny minions that all of a sudden now have 2 attack instead of 0. And this is kind of an annoying board to deal with. Corcoran's still able to trade rather efficiently in here. Swing with the axe. I don't think this was the Tinkmaster turn. Technically a lot better targets for Tinkmaster. That said, a lot of times there are going to be a bunch of totems on the board.
It's gonna do it, isn't it?
He's got it, right? Taking the 50-50. Oh, that minion is even more difficult to deal with than the previous one. You kind of have to do it. Having 3 power on the board to 5 is better than 0 power on the board to 4. Now, one thing I do want to make note of here that I think a lot of beginning warrior players don't maybe do as much is this shield block. You can cycle this at any time. You don't just have to play it on curve on 3. You don't have to play it on turn 5 with your hero power. Like, I understand it cycles a card and gets you closer to something, but armor is removal, right, for warrior. So if you don't play your shield block right away in the game, you have that opportunity to pick up shield slam, clear something bigger with shield block, shield slam. So it's really kind of a combo piece, not just something to trot out whenever you don't have something to play. And no weapon destruction in Khan's deck, so this Doomhammer kind of allowed to run amok. Alright, Karen coming down. We do see a card that's been in Mortimer's hand since turn 3. Suspect that's a Hex. A lot of times we see Hex just waiting in the wings for, later in the game against Warrior. Let's see if he's got it. Got 2 copies of Hex and 1 copy of Earthshock, so pretty well equipped to deal with Sylvanas, Karen. And draws the Hex off the top there. I still suspect this turn 3 card might be Earthshock or Hex. Haven't really been any opportunities to play those cards so far. And it looks like Mortimer's sensing weakness here. Plays the Flame Tongue and opts to get a little bit of extra damage in. Forcing out the Shield Block Shield Slam. I'm not so sure we'll see the second Shield Slam on this Flame Tongue. It always feels bad to use removal on 0 attack minions like Flame Tongue Totem. We'd rather clear those with our board because it costs us nothing, no HP of our board to clear that kind of stuff. But Flame Tongue can get kind of out of control. Khan also may be trying to represent that he has Brawl in hand as well. Ooh.
You could actually big game here if you want to.
Yeah, there's a possibility of shield slamming the Wrath of Air Totem and then BGH. It looks like that's what he's going to opt for. Yep, inadvertently buffing his own minion past 6 there. So BGH able to do it, but that's not going to take him out of the woods yet. Mortimer's still got that Doomhammer equipped, been getting insane value with these board traits, and he'll be able to clear off... Oh, doesn't use it on the BGH. Maybe representing a Rockbiter in hand is just looking for one more Rockbiter in order to deal enough damage to OTK Khan, but I'm not sure if it was the right choice to lose the Death Rattle there. Now Khan, I feel like with a good turn if he wants to play Acolyte here with the Whirlwind. Try and cycle a card with that as well. Goes for it, gets a second Acolyte. Probably best to just play that on the board right now. We know that there's still an Earthshock left in Mortimer's deck. Can't Earthshock both of these at once. Ooh. And that is lethal. That is well over lethal. Alright, so that's about how I would expect this matchup to go. Usually the Warrior's kind of on the back foot. Shaman has enough tempo plays, and their hero power is significant against the Warrior. So Mortimer able to pick up a game with Shaman there. We do see a Shaman win today.
Yeah, I think that might have been the first one.
Yeah, I think so too. Shaman taking a beating. Normally a pretty strong deck, I would say, you know, really in contention for at least an A-tier deck, maybe not quite an S-tier deck, because it does have some weak matchups against Zoo and you know, other quick decks that just flood too fast.
Yeah.
Okay, so series tied at 1-1. Mortimer taking a win there with his Shaman. Khan taking a win early with that Burn Warlock. And now we have two Druids walking into a bar.
I must protect the wild.
So what's the difference between these?
Yeah.
Try and find the Black Knight.
I did not like the Jedi Keeper Dinner. Always when I see like good Druid players, they never keep this, but that like bad Druid players always keeps this.
Yeah, I think most of the time isn't the conventional wisdom. Whoever gets Wild Growth wins the game.
In this matchup, actually, I kind of like the Torment Jedi. It's not generally good to go for a follow-up, but... oh, he's running this Druid list, yeah.
Yeah, so we have both players with Chillwind in their deck. And, yeah, you can't really help but want to innervate that thing out, get an early lead on the board. Oh. Savage Roar. Actually providing a pretty clean clear there, and no follow-up here for Khan on the next turn. Gonna have to just hero power down this Squire. We'll see if Mortimer is able to find one of those chill wins. That's gonna kind of set the pace here, if he is. No, just a Harvest Golem.
But yeah, like early Jedi is really good in the matchup though, because it basically makes like your opponent trade like all game, or you're like go face all game. And then basically you're the one killing them with combo.
Yep. Now, do you like
So
this druid here?
What do you mean?
Well,
This for the claw?
yeah, the druid with claw, yeah, because we could play Wrath and hero power and clear the harvest golem. Harvest golem isn't like a huge threat, but we also had, you know, druid of the claw next turn into coin Ancient of Lore into Ancient of Lore, which could be strong as well.
Yeah, I think I'll maybe Wrath there, but it seems like that's crazy rewarded, so.
Yeah, able to find a really good clear there with Swipe. Swipe, not a card that gets great value in Druid versus Druid, just because they don't really play stuff that has 1 HP. And 4 damage is, you know, it normally seems like a lot, but against Druid minions, they usually have more than 4 HP. So now Mortimer forced to respond here, having to clear the board with Wrath, not able to develop a minion. But Khan, similarly, sitting on 3 spells and 2 cards he can't play. We'll see if he draws something that he can play. There we go. Plays Azure Drake so fast. Finds a second Yeti. Okay, I knew there was a reason that Mortimer Wild Growth last turn. And Ragnaros hits the right target. Oh. That's Sylvanas off the top. Now, there's a card that's been in Mortimer's hand since the beginning here. I wonder if that's maybe a Keeper of the Grove. He might have played Keeper of the Grove last turn to clear the Drake, if he had it.
Oh.
It's that tense moment trying to figure out where's Rag going to hit. Last turn it hit the right thing.
Oh, if this Rag is face, you can still the Rag.
Oh, and it does
We can actually
hit
still the
face.
Rag.
Yep, just Wrath for 1 on Sylvanas. That seems to be a pretty good play. I like this choice. Gets to cycle a card too, just adding insult to injury. So aside from that, do we charge the Druid of the Claw in here?
We definitely don't go taunt, because we're just gonna Black Knight to win this hard, right?
He's not playing a copy of the Black Knight.
Oh, yeah, I like something.
Yeah, and we're still 1 off lethal though. BGH. Dealing with that stolen Ragnaros never really feels good to remove your own minions. And Mortimer having to draw here. Cycling a Wild Growth. Puts down his own Druid. Alright, so the opponent is at 15. There's a possibility of using Force of Nature Savage Roar here to clear. Get some face damage in. Get his opponent, you know, kind of worrying about what's going to happen. Oh, interesting. Gonna really value his HP total here rather than that extra 2 damage that he could deal on the board. I almost liked swinging into the BGH with face there. That would have put Mortimer at 5, which represents lethal next turn with 4 on the board and a hero power. Mortimer in a very unenviable position, having to trade off with his Force of Nature. Didn't seem like he had a follow-up last turn with 4 mana. Doesn't find a Chill Wind or a Keeper of the Grove this turn to follow up with. So just going to have to hero power there. Now he's kind of at Khan's whims. Now, how do you feel about the choice to cycle here with the Wild Growths?
I would Lord draw personally.
Yeah. And in fact, he chooses to heal up with the lore. I think, you know, maybe the thinking there is we're already ahead, play around double combo, I guess. But now we know there's no combo.
Double combo
yeah. Yeah. We don't even need the roar. We don't even need the roar. Khan able to find lethal there with the Force of Nature into Keeper of the Grove. Alright, so in the Druid Mirror, Khan gets ahead early and continues to stay ahead. That'll put him up 2-1 in the series, 3rd place. $10 on the line for these players. Khan needs one more win with Warrior here to close it out. Now that said, it shouldn't be so simple. I would expect that the last 2 decks here for Mortimer are actually quite strong against Warrior. He's got Control Paladin and he's got Combo Druid. So Khan will definitely see him having a little bit of an uphill struggle here with Warrior. Alright, and Mortimer opting to bring that Druid deck first. So as we mentioned earlier, this is a little bit of a tough matchup for the Warrior. The Druid can kind of tempo out of control. It can be close, depending on the draws, if the Druid doesn't get Wild Growth. Warrior is able to...
keeps Shield Slam, huh?
Keeps Shield Slam with no shield block. Now, that said, you know, sometimes... Oh, well, he gets the shield block anyway. But we can armor up for the first couple of turns. We're usually expecting, like, pass on turn 1, Wild Growth on 2. So we might have the opportunity to armor up twice before we shield slam. And Mortimer does not have Wild Growth. Now, there is no weapon destruction in Mortimer's deck, so Khan feels confident to drop this Fiery War Axe onto just get developed for the board. And Drake coming down. Pretty juicy target for the slam here. Better than trading in with Korkron. We'll need those Korkrons a little bit later to deal damage. We don't want to lose our minions as Warrior. I'd rather get value out of that axe and get a cycle. Right. Chillwind Yeti. No surprise here on the Shield Slam. I actually like Khan's choice. You know, a lot of times we say you want to play the card off the top if you get it, to not telegraph what you had in your hand previously. This is kind of the opposite case, as if we shield block in that position and we shield slam with this one, the one that we got off the top, it pretty much tells our opponent that we had a shield slam already in hand. So not telegraphing what his new card was. Good choice there by Khan. Tiny choices, but in a tournament setting you gotta take every little tiny advantage that you can. Whirlwind pretty good here. Oh, interesting. He chooses to actually play Sylvanas. I might have preferred to play Acolyte Whirlwind and swing there, just because Sylvanas is usually a card that can get a lot of value against Druid. It can be awkward to deal with if Keeper of the Grove isn't in hand. And interesting, Mortimer Wild Growthing to get himself to 9 mana next turn.
Soul's Play is interesting actually, because like they do play a lot of 5-drops, right? So it's pretty unlikely you can like hear a power 5-drop there, which I'm assuming is the reason behind the play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think probably keep the value for draw.
Yeah.
Say, but
I mean, there's nothing that costs 9 mana in the deck, right? Like, you'd have to have pretty much exactly Druid of the Claw plus Chillwind Yeti here, I think.
I will see, maybe he spends 9 money here. But personally, I would sometimes have it like done Wild Growth and have like 5-6 mana, to be honest, just keep drawing this matchup.
Yeah, totally.
But I guess he had lore in hand. If he has like Wrath here, he gets rewarded by the play.
Right. Yeah, Wrath is just about the only card I can think. He does have Wrath.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it makes sense then. I mean, he had lore for draw, so
Yeah.
lore draw, right?
That said, we weren't really sure what was going to hit the board there from Khan, so kind of gambling that something with 3 HP would be alive. Now, here we have Acolyte double Whirlwind if we want.
Oh, that is a lot of draw.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we could get rid of our activator. Oh, he's going to actually... Interesting. Opts to clear the Harvest Golem rather than rather than the Ancient. And I wonder if he'll play the second Whirlwind here. You know, normally, sure, Whirlwind does do damage to your opponent's board, but drawing 2 cards with it on this turn might be nice. I guess he might be saving it for Gramash, trying to deal some damage, but he's still got 2 Taskmasters and a Slam left in the deck.
I mean, what's the punish keeping these alive? Like Drake's wife? It's kind of hard for this creators, right?
Yeah. Well, he doesn't even have any Drakes left, so
Okay.
yeah, really not like a great way. I guess, maybe the Keeper Silence is one of them. You're the kind of guy that likes to roll the dice, right? You'd play Grom here, or Ragnaros here, surely, wouldn't you?
Oof.
It just feels so bad to play Alex. Like, yeah, you want to get him down to 15, but if your Alex gets sniped, which I'm pretty sure it will, I mean, at least it'll have a 50-50 at sniping it. It feels bad. It's the Druid's going to be developing their board. We don't have Brawl in hand. It seems rather urgent to clear this. Oh.
I can Karen as well.
Well, this seems pretty good. So Khan able to draw off the top there. I suppose that Gore Howl also worked, as well as Shield Block. So there were 3 possibilities, 4 with Execute. So there were 4 cards out of 12 that he could have drawn. 1 in 3 chance isn't too bad. And at the very worst, he could bail out with Ragnaros or Faceless Manipulator. So Blood Knight, card we don't see too often. Alright, well Khan's got some choices here. A lot of big minions. Could play Alex, could play Grom Taskmaster if he's crazy. Yeah, can opt for removal, can opt to remove with Gore Howl. I don't see a reason not to... Well, I guess he's not going to play Armor Smith here because he wants to play Rag. Yeah. Just wants to get that damage rolling in. Now, Mortimer is playing 2 copies of BGH, so he's pretty well teched for this Ragnaros. That said, there are 3 minions here. There's Rag, there's Grom, and there's Alex that are BGH targets. Can't kill all 3 of them with just 2 BGH. Oh, drops the second BGH. That might be a mistake here, especially knowing that these cards have been in Khan's hand for quite a while.
Oh, that's crazy. Wait, what is his hand? Because he has 7 mana.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just combo in hand. I don't know.
Yeah, it might be 2 copies of combo. Because we would have seen Keeper of the Grove. We would have seen Wild Growth. Might be a double combo in hand. Yeah, if it were double combo, he would be 2 off there. So Khan actually able to take it against Druid. I'll put Khan up to... Oh, no, he's able to finish off the series. Apologies. So Khan winning 3-1. That means he's our $10 3rd place winner. He's now on the podium. Congratulations to him. I understand, I don't play too much on you, but Khan, you said, is kind of a perennial top 10 player?
Yeah, I see him in top 10 a lot, yeah.
Cool. Alright, so...
And he spams the burn luck.
Okay, cool. A man after my own heart. That's fantastic.